Hello there. I'm sure you all know what a flicker clown is, but in case you don't, let me refresh your memory. It is the only neutral role in Roblox Flicker, being neither good nor evil. The clown's job is to try their hardest to get voted out so that they can kill a person of their choice, unstopped by the medic or anyone else. The clown is also the only role to have the ability to take out the murderer. As previously discussed in some of my earlier videos, the clown is one of the most popular roles within the Flicker fanbase. And the super cool thing about this role is that there is no right way to do it. There are many clown tactics that are used by players, all with the end goal to get voted out in mind. But what is the best way to do this? Which clown tactics are the worst and which actually work? Today I'm going to discuss 10 of the most popular, including my own, and rate them on a scale of 1 to 10 to find out which is the best. The ratings will be based around how often I see each strategy working successfully. I will be assuming for each strategy that it's well executed by the clown in question. But of course, each tactic is still dependent on the server you get into. You can go into this list assuming that the clown is good, but I can't say what the other 5 to 14 people are like in any server or circumstance. Thank you to Puppy Funds in my Discord server for providing a document with all their clown tactics to help me out with this video. If you want to join the Discord yourself, there will be a link in description. Now let's get started with the ratings. First clown tactic, and a popular one. Straight out saying you're a murderer or asking people to vote you. Now, this pains me. Oh, how it pains me. But 5 out of 10. Yes, I didn't want to give it such a high rating because a lot of beginner clowns do this and it's a bit annoying. Even more annoying, it works quite a bit. I don't know why. People are stupid, okay? They always end up getting voted no matter how much you tell everyone not to. So, I will give this tactic a rating in the middle because it's really not very good. People are also gullible. Me personally, I never do this and don't recommend you do either. There are lots of other ways, as you will see as the video goes on. Clown tactic number 2, the purposeful note drop. This is when the clown, usually, uses the assassin's game mechanics to their advantage. As you may know, a big part of the assassin role is to team up with your murderer using the note feature in-game. Notes that have a certain percentage chance of dropping. This means that every single player in the server will be able to see what you wrote in the note, so it's risky. So this tactic revolves around the clown faking assassin, in a way, saying something to the murderer, and then oops, the note drops. This gets a 6 out of 10 for me. It's not the worst one for sure. It's one I can say I've done before, though not recently. This is very dependent on the note dropped. I think nowadays most assassins are pretty smart, with some exceptions, of course, as always. So if the note is something painfully obvious, for example, I'm your assassin, or don't kill me, murderer, you can assume that it's probably a clown. However, bad assassins still exist, and especially if the note is slightly more subtle, it's hard to tell if it's a clown or the real deal, even in my experience. And sometimes people will vote the person just to be safe. If done wrong, it's unlikely you're to be believed as evil, and people won't touch you with a 6-foot pole. But as I said, we are assuming this is well executed by the clown in question, so that earns it a solid 6 out of 10. Number 3, and another popular one, accusing people in excessive amounts and or accusing them at random. 5 out of 10. I have to be honest, this could go either way. No matter how well you execute it, there's a 50-50 chance that the person you're accusing will just get voted instead of you, and then people will forget all about you. It works sometimes for sure, especially if your goal is just to cause chaos, but for getting voted out, it's not one I would recommend. On to the next. Being quiet. 4 out of 10 for me. This has worked for my moderator a lot. It's true that people vote the quiet ones, but this tactic is rated so low because it usually works later on in the game. In my experience, it's the loud ones that get voted and or killed first, then the quiet ones. And that's another thing as clown, you want to stay alive, you don't want to be killed, because your ability only works after you get voted out. I can't say much on this strategy because I don't really do it myself, but no offense, it's just kind of bad in my opinion. Doing this leaves it completely up to the other players whether you get voted. You really just sit there and do nothing and hope. And sometimes it works, but sometimes it doesn't. Plus, isn't that just a little boring? We have now reached the halfway point on our rating list. And it's time for, drumroll please, being weird. 0 out of 10. Why would you do this? I say this because it usually gets on the borderline of being harassy, and no one likes that. Maybe you'll get voted because people want to be rid of you, but then everyone hates you. Sadly, I see this tactic being used a lot, dropping a meme note or screaming at someone or just being weird, but can we start a petition to get people to stop doing this? A win isn't worth the sanity of all those poor people. Sixth clown tactic, and I'm excited for this one. Being open about it. And, get this, blackmail. Now, hear me out. 8 out of 10. I might sound like a psychopath or an evil genius here, but playing aside is a great way to do it. This is usually my second tactic that I revert to if my first doesn't work, and we'll get to that later. Revealing your role to use it for threats or bribery is great. Let me give you examples. Say we're playing the good team. I would personally only do this if murderer is dead, by the way. It's a little bit risky. Tell the good team that if they vote you, you'll kill the remaining evil person. Even better, bluff and say you know who it is, even if you don't. If you're playing the evil team, tell them to vote you for help killing the medic or something. Another kill of any kind is good for them, after all. Especially if you can find an assassin struggling to lead their team alone. If this doesn't work, at least it'll keep you alive to get an easier win. Okay, don't hate me for all of that. I can assure you, no matter which team I choose, I keep my promise if I get voted. I got my win, I don't need to backstab them. I'm not that terrible. Anyway, this can be a good way to get what you want if you're interested in a more intense way of playing the clown. Another thing is that sometimes they'll vote you at the end just for you to get your win if you've been helping them. Make those truces and flicker. It's the true meaning of being neutral. Number 7. Being rude. 3 out of 10. I tried this one time and I felt terrible afterwards, so never again. Not for me. It can work sometimes, but really? You'll probably just end up getting killed first night instead. It's not really worth it. Number 8 on the list. Oh boy. This is mine. Pretending to be the witch. Personally, I give it an 8 out of 10. Yes, it's definitely not perfect, but the fact that it's my main tactic has to mean something. Think about it. Witch is the perfect ploy. There is no real way to prove it if you say you're witching a survivor or something. The murderer won't want to kill you in hopes you're their actual witch. It's great. But what I usually do is pretending to not know what the role means, and that's where things can go either way. With my avatar items, some people don't believe me for sure, and that's when I pull out Tactic 6 from my back pocket. But it can be easy to believe that someone is coming into Flickr after many months of not playing, or that they're a younger player who doesn't fully understand the concept of the role. Witch's role description being one of the more vague ones definitely helps the case, too. Again, this usually goes either way for me, depending on how gullible the server is. Sometimes I get voted just to be safe, sometimes people see straight through me, sometimes people are shocked when they learn the truth, or just never figure it out. But the best part is when the actual witch witches me. Oh, and another time, a little side tangent,
I threatened the savior that I would witch them if they didn't bring back the murderer, and they actually did. That didn't help my case or anything. It was just freaking funny.
Anyway, this is the one I can speak about from experience, and I'm going to be honest, I need to broaden my clown tactic horizons, but this is my default, and it works not perfectly, but pretty well. And as previously stated, if it doesn't work, I combine it with tactic 6 on the list, and boom. Number 9. Second to last tactic we will go over today. Faking an important role. This is the highest ranking you'll see this entire video, at a solid 9 out of 10, because no tactic is perfect. And let me explain myself. Now, don't just come out saying you're the psychic or the spy or someone, you'll just die. You have to be strategic. Wait until the psychic has revealed themselves, and then that's when you claim psychic or spy. Wait for people to piece it together, that there can't be a psychic whether the real one has revealed or a spy has. This is the most subtle and smartest clown tactic there is, because it will appear as a simple slip in an evil front. I think I've seen my moderators do this before. Walker, I know you're seeing this. Please tell me if I'm just delusional. Anyway, there are many levels this works on, and since people don't even usually believe the normal psychic half the time, Flickr paranoia at its finest, you'll probably get voted. Finally, number 10, the last one I'll be going over. Overstating your innocence. Saying over and over again that you're good or a survivor or something. This might weird people out to the point they vote you, but it could just as easily convince them or get you killed instead. Similar in ways to the first one I went over, but slightly better, so like a 5.5 out of 10. Well, What did you think? What's your favorite way to play the clown in Flicker, and do you agree with my ratings? Let me know in the comments, and please do provide ideas for a future Roblox Flicker video. See you later!